Raised Rowdy.
All right, well, I'm Nicky T.
I'm Kurt Ozan.
And we're super happy to be here on the Raised Rowdy Podcast for another episode with our boy Ryan Waters.
What's up, brothers?
Welcome, Ryan Water Band.
The people don't get that, but we're chatting off the mic a little bit about people mispronouncing names. I said, as we picked up these bottles of water, I said, Ryan Water. Yeah.
I've gotten everything. I've got Ron Walters.
Yeah.
Ron
Ryan
Walters?
Water. I'm like, what?
You're like, what's
How
going
do you
on?
get it that wrong?
You want to scoot the mic just a smidge
Yeah.
back towards you.
Get up on that mic.
There we
Get
go.
up on that mic.
Get it on there.
Well, dude, thanks so much for coming out. We were just chatting about you being at the old podcast studio, which was the extra bedroom at the house I lived at.
Yeah, thank y'all for having me, brother.
Dude, of course. Yeah, I'm super excited about the album coming out.
I am too. I'm ready for it to just be out.
Yeah.
At this point, it's like it's been a year. You know,
In the
seems
works.
like it's been 2 years.
Yeah,
It's like
In
you've
the
been
works.
pregnant with it or something.
Exactly. Now it's just now coming.
that's super cool. Well, let's just kick into that first, and then we'll go backwards from there.
Okay.
So why don't we talk about the title of the record?
All right. All I've ever known.
Yeah.
You know, it actually started out as In the Mirror,
Yeah.
which is a track on the album. And Zach, I think you've probably talked to Zach.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, dude, When It Don't's just a fantastic song, and there's a lyric in there that says all I've ever known, and that kind of encapsulates the album. And I was like, you're kind of right, because all these songs are like all I've ever known.
Yeah.
So it kind of just it wrote itself.
Yeah.
So we come up with all I've ever known, and I think every freaking track is something that I've been through. So it's all I've ever known.
Yeah. I think it's a great collection of songs, too. We love your producer as well, And it's... I love, too, that, like, you have some of our OG homies on it, too, like Brian and Alex you co-wrote with, and just a great collection of work.
I'm glad that the actual track that we're pushing out as the main focus track is a track that I got to write with Brian
Yeah.
and Alex. So that's gonna be
Sick.
It's to me it's probably my favorite track on the album too.
Yeah.
So it was cool.
Why don't you talk about it and maybe even the right?
You talking about the track When It
Yep.
Don't?
Yep.
Well, the right was kind of last minute. You know how Brian is.
Yeah.
Brian rolls
He's
up.
always
He's like,
doing
"What's
something."
up, bro?" And he comes in, and me and Alex and Sean, me and Sean were already sitting there, and we had this idea. We wanted to write like a cool, like kind of upbeat breakup song. We didn't really know where it was going to head. And Alex come in with some good ideas, as Alex does. And he had a few like melodies in his head, and we finally got to talking about this story about this guy that like has everything, and this guy that comes up to this guy that has everything, and he's like, you got all this, like how do I get that, or how does it feel to have all that? And the guy just looks at him and like, I can't tell you what it feels like to have everything, or have everything go right for me, but I can tell you what it feels like when it don't. And then we were like, shit, that's pretty deep. And we ended up writing When It Don't, and I think it's just a killer track.
Yeah.
But as far as the story goes, there wasn't much to it. It was like, and sometimes I think those are the best writes, is the ones that you just kind of sit in the studio, you ponder 3 or 4 ideas, and then like it's just there. The
Craft
song's
them out.
there. I mean, you hear stories about songs taking years to write, sometimes weeks, months to write, but some of the best songs are done in an hour, and that's kind of what this one was.
That's cool.
So
Yeah.
dude.
So what was the process like? I know you've been putting out music for a while and got to put out some like EPs and stuff like that. So what was that process like in terms of like you deciding you wanted to do a full record?
I think it was a lot of chaos.
Yeah.
I think it started out as, I had just signed my first record deal with MBDN, and it was like, let's push out as many singles as we can. Let's wait on an album. And we had already written like, 5 or 6 songs. So we had an EP pretty much. And we had this whole idea we were going to do, we had an artist that was, every track that was coming out as a single had this artistry about it that kind of collectively come together as a set of puzzle pieces, which was ultimately going to be the album artwork. And each single was coming out, and I remember talking to Benji, and he was like, dude, I think you need to put a full-length album out. I think you're kind of at the point now where you need to think, to shift focus and think album. And we had all these, these good songs, but we wanted to have 10 or 12 songs. And I think I even contacted you about it. I had 8 at the time, when we were going to release the official album, and I was like, there's just something that's missing. Like there was, to me, there was a really upbeat song, like a happy song, because shit, I'm a sad dude. Like I write about sad shit. So it was like, you know, I want something happy on it that maybe, you know, maybe represented me as a younger version of me.
Yeah.
And then we come up with Whiskey Talking.
Yeah.
And then I think I contacted you and I was like, dude, we need 2 more.
Yeah.
We need 2 more. And then you come through with Wasn't the Truck and freaking Back Way Back, which ended up just being
Both
killer songs.
Yeah. Dude, that's like one of the coolest things about me being in town is like getting to hear buddies' songs. Like if they're like, yo, listen to this one, it's sick, you know?
So you pitched Ryan some songs.
Yep. Yeah. It's
Just
sick.
start a public company, dude. What are you doing?
Maybe 1 year. Yeah.
This is the year, dog.
Yeah.
And it was actually really difficult because I think you sent me like 25 songs. It was like 25, 30 songs. And I'm like, shit, there's some really good stuff here. Like, how do I narrow this down to 2 songs?
Yeah.
And I think at that time we had got Whiskey Talking and Whiskey on a Weekday. And I was like, what's left? I don't have a reminiscent song. Back Way Back was that. And then Wasn't the Truck was like this song about the guy being wrong. And I've been that guy before. I was like, fuck, that's the song.
That song's so good.
That song's so good. And then even, you know, Ryan singing it, I was like, damn, this is a killer song. Why isn't this like huge right now?
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a no-brainer. Got to do that one.
Yeah.
So,
dude,
Follow your gut.
Yeah, dude, and that's it. Like, there's so many amazing songs. I mean, just Nashville and all the people writing such great songs that like either don't get the light of day and they never get cut, or even if they do, just don't get the day in the sun, you know? So it's like, it's cool to see that song getting some more life and getting other songs that are like ones that our buddies have gotten to write that are like finally getting to see the light of day. And I mean, an amazing voice like you have putting on it too. So
I think a guy that doesn't get a lot of credit is Alex.
Yeah.
Alex is on so many songs that were even
Maxwell?
out of you sent me. And, you know, it's like, dude is a killer writer.
Yeah.
And I knew that when I sat down with him and we were writing When It Don't, that I was like, this dude brings a lot to the table. Like, he's a heavy hitter. And I think that having dudes like that, obviously you're going to have a pretty damn good record when you have guys like that writing with you.
Yeah. And dude, he has like his lane that he's amazing at, but he can kind of write anything. And he has done a lot of production stuff too. So he kind of brings that into the writer's room, which I'm sure is like kind of how Sean does too. You know what I mean? Where it's like, you have, if you're used to producing, your ear's a little bit different, you know, like you have that side of it. So he's another guy that I think is incredibly talented.
Yeah, I think he hears things that you wouldn't normally hear.
Yeah.
Like he hears something that's not there yet.
Yeah.
And that's hard to find, is somebody that kind of
cool.
just makes it up as he goes, and it ends up being fantastic.
Yeah.
So I think that overall, like the you know, the lyricism of this album is pretty killer. I think it's up and down though. It's like you have this Whiskey Talking, which is this bar anthem that could probably be played in a club, and then you've got Bloodstream that makes you feel like there's demons in the room around us. You know, that just puts you in this headspace of like, holy shit, like I got to make either the right or the wrong decision here. What do I do? And
that's life. For sure.
I think the thing that I'm most like proud of this album in particular about, I know it's my debut album, but the thing that makes me most excited about it is that it's pretty much everything that I've been through, whether it was a song that I had the privilege of writing on or not. Like Wasn't the Truck, I've been a douchebag of a guy before, probably at one point in my life. I've been, you know, Back Way Back, I've reminisced about, I think we could all probably reminisce about going back and probably doing something different that we did wrong before.
1000%.
And just, I remember like growing up, your parents probably told you the same thing, but like, you're going to miss this when it's gone, you know, slow down. And Back Way Back was that song for me. I think, I don't know, dude, you giving me, you know, coming through with those 2 songs were like the perfect exclamation point on the album.
You know me, man, I'm just a lover of music. I'm happy to have songs that are great songs get the light of day, and an amazing voice like yours being on it's insane, you know. It's super cool.
It was weird too, because I was listening to, I think it was Back Way Back, and I don't know who the guy was that did the acoustic tape of it, but I was like, his voice is so high and mine is so like in the basement.
Yeah.
And I think when you mesh them together though, it just sounds like the coolest country song now.
Yeah.
It's like Did you get a chance? Have you got a chance to hear it yet?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, I got an early listen to the record,
Sick.
so I got to listen through.
Sick, dude.
Yep. We're gonna do a album. We're actually gonna premiere Wasn't the Truck, I think, too.
Awesome.
I mean, the podcast will be out after that, or it already happened, but
Yeah.
we're gonna premiere that online for people to hear a day before the
That'll
record
be
drops
sick.
too. So.
How does Ryan and them feel about that?
Dude, awesome. He's so excited.
Pretty stoked about it?
Thankful. Yeah.
Who's Ryan? Who's Ryan?
Nelson.
Oh, Ryan Nelson. Oh,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
Yeah, him and McKinney wrote that.
Oh, shit. Okay. Because I hear Ryan and Matt. I'm like, I know a lot of Ryans and Matts.
Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Ryan Nelson. Well, you said Maxwell. I kind of assumed it was Ryan Nelson. And,
Yeah.
And McKinney, of course. That
Yep.
whole crew.
Yep,
Gotcha.
yep.
All right. I'm caught up.
That song was one that, like, I think I heard McKinney play it out first. And I was like, damn, that song just hits you in the chest, you know?
Yeah, and it was like when I started singing it, I was like, because I ended up going in and kind of reworking verse 2 to be about like where I grew up at, like a road where I grew up, or a pond or a creek that was right down the road from the house, and it just fit perfectly. It was like, there's some things that you end up coming across that it was just like it was divine timing. Like you got that right place, right time. You knew the right people.
Yeah.
And it was perfect timing in my opinion. So
Yeah. Super cool.
really cool.
And man, and my thing too, like when I'm listening to a song, it's like re-listenability, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I hear a song and I put it back on, and put it back on, and put it back on, I will do that often, just being the person that I am. But like that song, whatever it is about that has that thing too.
And to me, and I don't know if you guys are like that, I'm sure there's people like this. To me, sometimes, a lot of the times it's the lyrics. Obviously, that's the meat of the song, but sometimes it's a solo.
Yeah.
Like I will sit there and listen to a solo over and over again, and it gets stuck in my head, and that's what draws me to the song.
Yep.
Back Way Back is one of those where it's like, oh, this solo is so good that I'm drawn into this song.
Guitar solo or
Guitar solo.
Yeah.
And it's like, how did this guy think of this right here?
Yeah.
Do you remember who played on it?
I think on Back Way Back, it was a guy from the Netherlands. His name's Baggio.
Oh, okay. Well, I was not expecting that.
Yeah. There's
Wow.
that one, and then When It Don't was a guy here in town. What is Jason's last name? I know he's played lead for Dylan Carmichael.
Oh, okay. Yeah, long hair guy.
Yeah, long
Yeah.
curly
Ripper, dude. Yeah,
he
curly
is
hair.
so good. He
Yeah.
thinks of some of the most off the wall solos, but they end
Great
up being
tone too.
so good. But you got to hear that one after this. That solo is
See, pull it up
ripping.
right now.
Yeah.
Really?
I might need to send you Wi-Fi.
Yeah, sorry to throw a wrench in the whole thing.
Oh, you're good.
I have a question since we're doing this. What made you think to hit up Nick to pitch you some songs? That's pretty cool.
I don't really know. I knew he was really obviously really connected in
Yeah.
the scene,
You're good at
and I knew that
network.
obviously
Go to that network on your phone there.
running the things that he run with the writers rounds downtown that he was
Yeah.
running, that he obviously knew people that wrote music.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's one of the coolest parts about what we get to do is just the amount of amazing songs that you get to hear. And sometimes you'll hear it one time, and that's the only time you hear it,
That's it.
I know. I kind of weep for some of those songs.
I know. But there's I remember Dylan Marlowe before he had a record deal and stuff. Just hearing some of his songs that I was like, man, it's just so good and so catchy. And then he's like, man, I got 100 better than that one now. And I was like, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
What is the song that I think Ella wrote on it? There was a song that he put out that I was like, damn, that's a good song. It was it had to have been last year.
Which one?
It was last year. I'll think of it in a second. It was a damn good song. It's kind of what drew me to him.
Yeah. Dude, Dylan's a great writer. And I mean, great artist too.
Good guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's
Yeah,
from
we had
Georgia,
him on
isn't
the
he?
pod. Yeah, he is.
Georgia?
Yeah, we had him on the pod. I guess that was our last episode of last year.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I know it was.
Yeah.
Let's see. How are we going to do this, guys?
Put up the microphone.
Yeah.
All right. Let me go.
To sit here and appreciate a guitar solo, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's not. Jason brings that element that's not necessarily just country. He
No,
brings
he's a
rock
rocker,
elements
dude.
in it too.
Yeah.
Dude. Here we go. Let's go into it a little bit. Of course, it's not going to go
To write that part.
just Dropbox. It might. think this is the TV version, so it's not showing the lyrics. That's even better.
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
Like-
it's like a Dan Huff kind of a thing, like 80s rock vibes.
Like,
Sick.
and when he sent that
Guitar
over,
for days.
and he's so like, he's so humble of a guy. He sends it over, and he's like, "Is that good?" And we're like, "Is that fucking good, dude? Are you kidding me? What's wrong with you? It's perfect."
So cool.
Bro, growing up, I loved Nirvana so much, but I was like, I just love guitar solos so much too, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, Nirvana had guitar solos, but it's just play the melody. Nothing wrong with that, but I love hearing that. And guitar harmonies are so cool. That rocks, dude.
Yes, dude.
Great tempo on it, too.
Well, that's like Ryan is an artist. You're like a mix of country and rock, and there's even a little bit of pop elements in there sometimes. You know, in some songs, it's cool.
That's what I think, and I think the record. I was actually talking about this yesterday. I think the record is like so. That's what makes me kind of different as an artist is that you got some of this pop over here, then you got Shadow of the Doubt that's like rock,
Yep.
and then you've got Bloodstream that's like this. What would you call Bloodstream? I mean,
It's country, I'd say.
it's country, but it's like really dark
Yeah.
country,
It's
which is definitely in now.
yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean that feeling is in.
yeah.
It's crazy to see, but over the years, I feel like we're shifting into this thing where like dark and like, you know, people are like liking, you know, it sounds weird, but like people kind of like feeling bad, I guess.
Yeah.
Like the way a song that talks about how you really feel. You know, it's just one of those things. dude.
cathartic. Like it sometimes, like we talk about in country music often, like traditional country, it's like sad songs make you happy, right? Because like if you're going through something, knowing that someone else is going through something too helps,
Yeah.
right? So like if music can unlock that for someone, it can hit them way heavier than the good timing songs. You know what I mean?
Well, one of the things I noticed, like Tucker Wetmore,
Yeah.
for example, I think a lot of his music has like this sad message, but it feels happy.
It's packaged in,
You
in
know?
a fun tempo.
Yeah, like Morgan does a lot of that stuff too. Morgan Wallen does a lot of that stuff where the song sounds super happy, but it's, you know, it could be about, you know, an awful breakup. I don't,
Yeah.
you know, it's just
or
so
like
everywhere.
dealing with the life of celebrity. You know, he talks
Yeah.
about a decent bit in some of his music. You know, it's like a weird thing.
I remember like Luke was I play in Luke Combs' band. I don't know if you know that. Luke was like, man, I can't even like leave the house or we were on the Brantley cruise, and he was like, I can't leave this little like suite that he was in, like because he would just get mobbed everywhere. This was like before Luke was who he is now, and I remember being like, oh, like boo hoo, like wipe the tear away with $100 bill kind of a thing, you know. But it's like if you're like that famous, it's like you can't do so much stuff.
Yeah.
It's like you can't go to the grocery store. That's
Yeah.
why like Michael Jackson like rented a grocery store and paid actors to come in and just be regular people so we can just go shop and get the feeling of what it's like to go shopping.
Yeah.
That is
It's so interesting.
crazy.
I think
dude.
in Nashville, like you don't have that kind of
Not as hard.
yeah.
Yeah. There's a couple people. Like if Wallen's out at the grocery store, he's gonna get bugged. Right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But like Chris Young could go to the grocery store.
Why was I thinking Chris Young too?
Because he's around. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? You
yeah.
see him around.
Yeah.
And he'll get bothered, but it's not like every time.
Yeah.
You know? Like there's still people be like, yo, I get a picture, or, you know, shit like that. But like it's not like if you see a movie star and you're in Pittsburgh, they're just getting mobbed, you know? But I mean a guy like Luke, who is a face that you know nationally, whether you're a huge country music star or just maybe listen to it here or there on the radio, that is tough. And you lose, as you're talking about, like with Michael Jackson renting out a grocery store, you lose a little bit of like the regular thing. You forget what it's like.
That's got to be
know?
weird too. Like I'm thinking like of how weird it is just for me, and I'm not anywhere close to
Have
that
you
yet.
had some weird instances?
Well, I've had people like obviously drive like 8 or 9 hours to come and see me, or
that's
like
great.
when I was in Orlando, Florida. This was 2 months ago. I was playing a 10 roof run in Orlando.
Classic.
And after the show, this family comes up to me and were like, "We flew from Wales to see you."
What?
And I'm like, "You UK Wales?" And they were like, "Yes, that Wales." And I was like, "All the way to see me?" And they were like, "Yes." And stuff
Glad
like
you found
that.
out after the show, because it probably would have been in your head if you found out beforehand.
I hope I don't
Fucked
suck.
up. Yeah.
But it's like, it's still like stuff like that baffles me. So I couldn't imagine, like, I hope I get there one day, but I still can't imagine like what that feels like to have to walk around and be like constantly kind of looking over your shoulder, like, who's gonna see me today?
Yeah.
You know, like, does he wear something different? You know?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's weird.
And not to get like dark about it, but it's like, but if you're a female, then there's a whole nother thing of, especially when you're like, you're doing great, but you don't have money to have like guards around on stuff like that.
Yeah.
Celebrity is a double-sided edge for sure.
For sure.
One of the like the really harsh realities of it is like, even me, and I imagine Luke or Morgan or anybody of that stature is on a totally different playing field. But like, even me, like on TikTok or something, I've had instances where fans have reached out to me and they're like, "I talked to you,
Oh boy.
for 3 months, blah 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 blah." Or I've even had this was the weirdest one. I had like a husband reach out to me and say that I was like messaging his wife, and I'm like, "No, I wasn't. No, I was not." Like, it's so weird. Like, there's so many like imposters and shit.
Yeah.
And like, I couldn't imagine.
It's only gonna get worse with this AI, dude.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. It's wild.
that is crazy. Like, have you ever seen a video on your social media where it sounds exactly like the person? Looks like they're saying
Like
it. That's just
Rogan?
like, what is going on, dude?
Yeah.
That is
Dude,
wild.
and all these like dating apps are all gonna be AI and everything. It's gonna be weird. Not to dive into the AI thing right away, but like, yeah.
No, it's definitely weird. Even like, I run into people, and I remember I was at the Luke show in Cincy, and I had like a pass on, so I was like, someone probably thinks I'm important, because Kurt had me out there as like his guest, and this girl's like, "Hey, can I get a picture with you?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm not famous or anything. I'm like not with the band or anything." She's like, "I know who you are. You're Nick Tressler from Raised Rowdy." I was like,
God.
"Oh, fuck. All right, yeah, let's take a picture." I was like, I thought she thought I was like
Nick
with
is
the band or something.
famous. Nick
To
is famous.
one person in the stadium. But it was just like, it threw me off guard. You know what I mean? I was like, I thought she thought I was someone else. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, like, I'm not like, I'm no one. Like, I don't know who you think I am, but I'm not that person. She's like, "I know who you are." She's like, "I thought you were just being a dick." I'm like, "Oh no, I really didn't think you knew like who I was." I was like, "I'm happy to take a picture with you, whatever." Just weird.
There's some very brave people too.
Oh yeah.
After shows,
Yep.
you get the, "Will you sign this? Will you sign this?" And then you get,
Sign my baby.
yeah, you get some weird stuff, dude. I mean, I could probably won't go into it on this podcast.
No, this is the podcast going
This is
on.
weird
so
shit,
please.
dude. All right.
Yeah.
Well, playing a show at Lake of the Ozark in Missouri.
Uh-huh.
This would have been 2 years ago. And after the show, it was a really good crowd. I mean, it was a really cool place. I think everybody was high. I'm pretty sure everybody was toasted out there. After the show, we're packing up our equipment, and I've been over to the merch table. I've signed some hats. I've done like the normal thing.
Yeah.
And I'm helping my team pack shit up. And this woman comes up to me and she's like, "Will you sign my titties?" And I'm like, I mean, I wasn't dating anyone at the time. I was
Yeah.
like,
Okay, that was
should
weird.
I? Should I? And then here's the weird part though, is her husband comes up and he's like, "Sign her titties, and then let me take a picture of y'all together with her showing her titties off."
Oh,
You're like, that might be a little too much.
Yeah.
that's like some cuckold fetish.
Oh,
shit.
it gets
Yeah.
way darker, bro.
Oh no.
It
Okay.
gets way darker. So we're sitting there, and I'm like, I'm pondering this, and I ask my guitarist Nate, I'm like, "Dude, what do I do here?" And he's like, "I don't think you should do it, but those are a nice set of titties." And anyways, we get a little further into
Shout out to Nate.
conversation. I'm just trying to talk,
Yeah,
to
be
them,
nice.
and just trying to like kind of tone it down from where
Yeah.
we're at. And he's like, So, dude, this was when things took a turn. They had already kind of taken a turn. But he goes, I want you to sign her titties so I can come on it later.
Whoa! I've never had that. That's wild, bro.
Wild.
And I said, I looked at Nate. I looked at my drummer out at the time. I'm like, y'all got to get me the fuck out of here, dude. There's some weird shit happening
I'll
right
see
now.
you guys later. I hope you have
I'm
a good
out.
night.
I'm out. But that is by far the weirdest shit I've ever experienced.
I mean, that would be weirder than anything I've experienced, so that makes sense.
and I'm
It's
like,
wild.
Where do people come up with this shit? You know?
They're just listen, there's a lot of people in the world, which means just statistically there's a lot of weird motherfuckers in this world.
Yeah. I had a guy hand me it was after a show, this was like a million years ago, hand me a remote, like a little black remote, and it was like controlling a vibrator his girlfriend had on. And like so I pushed the button, she was like,
oh
Wow.
yeah.
Ooh. Oh my god.
So
I
wow.
was like, what does this do? I was like, oh God.
That okay.
Strange stuff.
Yeah. And here I am like, oh, these girls have to deal with it. Well, you're dealing with weird shit on the road too.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine if that happens, and I'm at this level, what happens at the next level and the next? Like,
Well, I will
the
say
weirdos
that
keep coming out.
all the weirdest shit I've ever seen is at the club level.
Yeah.
It's like that's when like you're as close to the energy of the crowd. You know, it's like the
Most
shows.
accessible.
Yeah, because you're like you can reach out and like you're standing on like a subwoofer or whatever, and people are like, "We'll grab your boots and stuff." But you're close. It's like playing the Dusty. You know what I mean? It's like you can feel the energy of the crowd, and it's awesome. But you know, there's pros and cons of that too. But like when you're playing stadium shows, I'm not close to the fans at all. Really, there's like a photo pit, and there's barricades, and there's security. So it's like nothing. I don't get anyone like that. Nothing weird like that ever happens.
I've had one instance where I thought my mother was about to like kill someone. I thought she was about to just go off and like really take somebody
Just one.
out.
That's good.
I'm playing a show. Obviously, both of you been to Panama City.
Yes.
You know where Sharky's is?
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing a show at Sharky's. This is back when I was doing cover band stuff. I put my drink down on the stage, and I'm turning around, and I'm talking to my drummer. And this girl comes up, and she switches my drink out with another drink.
Oh God.
And my mom's like, hell no, bitch. Hell no. I hear, I'm like, what is my mom doing? Like when I turn around, she's done got up in this woman's face and like, no. Like she had done like put a drugged drink in front of me that looked exactly like mine and just left it there. And I had already picked it up at this point.
Oh my
And my
God.
mom's like, no. So I put it back down and I ended up playing the next song. And she, after my set, you know, she ended up telling me what happened. And I was like, this shit happens to me, you know.
You call the cops, bro.
That's crazy. Well,
Yeah.
the woman ends up like leaving immediately after that, of course. But it's like, and
fuck
I don't
is
know
wrong with people,
I don't know if
dude?
you've ever had anything like that happen to you. I've actually been playing a show before, and you know this guy bought a round of drinks from the bar, and the bar sent at this place I was playing shots up to me and my band, and something was in it, and it knocked me flat on my ass. And you got to think, if I'm 230 pounds, what that would do to like 100-pound girl, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's
Jesus
crazy,
Christ,
dude.
bro.
Shit happens, and crazy
Yeah.
shit.
I was at a show here in Nashville not too long after I moved, and someone offered to buy me and my friend Heather beers, and I was like, "Nah, I'm good." And Heather's like, "I'll take one." And they were like, "What do you want?" And she was like, "Either this beer or this beer." Well, they brought back both of those two beers, and so she's like, "Dude, just drink one of these." And I was like, "All right." Well, I was messed up for like 16 hours
Off one drink.
off one drink. Yeah. Like I was like, and I'm a 250 plus
Yeah.
male. Like imagine if Heather had consumed that.
Oh, out.
You
Out
know?
like a light.
Yeah.
Out like a light.
Like it would have been nuts.
I was down at and shit, not to get too far off subject, but I was down at Garth's like the second weekend it opened, and I was out. My now drummer, he invited me to. I think his girlfriend was having like a album release party or something downtown, and me and my fiance Caitlin had like, you know, we had a shot or two before we left the house of tequila. We were not anywhere near drunk, you know. We
Get the motor running.
we get there, and we've Ubered down there, and we get there, and Oliver's like, let's do a round of shots. And we went and did this round of shots, and all I remember, dude, is me and her got into this. And I don't know if you've ever just gotten drunk and you just got into an argument just because you were drunk,
Oh,
but
yeah.
we got into this knockdown, drag out argument. And like, I just remember like there's always a crowd of people in Nashville, right?
Yeah.
So we're walking down the middle of Broadway, and like I'm like losing her through the crowd, and she's like trying to call an Uber, and we're arguing at this point, and it's like, what the hell? Like the next morning, we're like, what the hell happened to us? Because we had one drink when we got down there, and we're like, we got that straight from the bartender. Like, and if that's happening, it's happening, at a lot of places. Like, I'm not saying it happened there. I'm not putting the blame on them. Somebody could have done it.
Yeah.
That was in our group trying to be funny or something. I don't know, but it's not funny. You know what I mean?
It, yeah, when it came over or something.
Because like it's a scary freaking world, dude. Like, and like especially now with all the like fentanyl and shit. It's
wild.
Like I'm really like I will not anymore like just take like used to like when I played cover band shows and shit. And somebody bought me a drink, out of respect, I'd be like, I got to take this with them or something, but I won't do it anymore. I won't, just to keep myself safe.
I mean, it's smart.
And when I started bartending, I remember, like, let's say that you're the customer, and you're like, hey, I want a Jack and Coke. I would turn around, pour it, and make the drink and turn around. Like, when I first started, and my manager was like, don't do that. Make it in front. Make sure they can see everything you're doing all the time. I'm like, duh.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing, man. Like, some people just like to see, they're not even trying to like take you home or do anything bad. They just want to see chaos.
They want to see something happen to you.
Yeah.
Like and actually I had played, this is the first time I ever experienced anything like this. I was doing a show down at a place, Miss Newbies in Panama City. They were actually they held a competition every year for a while that like the winner went and opened Gulf Coast Jam, right? Mm-hmm. And I got down there, and this group had ordered me and my band, some shots, and I didn't think anything about it. I had not had any drinks, and I had a shot of Fireball on stage, and we had already played our 2 songs. It was a 3-song set, so we're going back up there because they had like intermission between each song, right? And my guitarist told me the next morning, he's like, "Do you know what happened last night?" And I was like, "No, what happened?" He said, "We had to like take you home, like you had to go because you were rapping on stage. You were rapping in the mic and just over like your song."
I shouldn't even be laughing at it.
And I was like, no, I was not. And he was like, "Yeah, you were." And he's like, "I think you got drugged." And I ended up, at the time, I was married to then a nurse, and she said, I went and had a blood panel done, and of course it came back that I was roofied.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like somebody that I just entrusted just to give me a shot as like a, hey,
they didn't
you're
want
doing
you
a
to
good
win
job.
the Gulf Coast Jam.
No, they damn sure didn't. And I damn sure did not.
Yeah. I shouldn't be making jokes, but like, yeah.
But it's
damn,
like,
bro.
It's like you can't, you want to like, when you have a big heart, and I feel like you do too. I don't know Kurt as well, but I feel like maybe you're 2 guys that do. I feel like when you do that, you like entrust this person that they've got your best interest in mind, when in reality they don't. So you gotta be like loving, but there's got to be a cutoff point there because you can't just trust everybody. I've learned that for sure.
Same. Yeah, as I've gotten older, it's like you see why you tighten up your circle. You know what I mean? And it's like you realize the people that are good and the people that are okay and the people that you think might be bad. Right?
And there's a reason that your circle, I mean, there's probably a reason that your circle gets smaller as you get older, because that's the people that you can trust the most,
Yep.
And I think we've probably all had friends that were friends for like a couple years, even maybe 10 years, and then now you never talk to them.
Yeah,
again,
like Red Door friends kind of thing, or whatever.
Ever.
Yeah.
And I like Red Door. Red Door is like my spot in town. I love going to Red Door, but it's like you can get encapsulated in that environment, and where you're going every night, you're spending all your money, all your time's being kind of not really wasted. You tell yourself this, oh, but I'm networking, but are you really? If you're just hammered the whole time,
right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I always say, I always tell people this, and I've been the drunkest guy at Red Door before, but I'm like,
same.
I was like, you never want to be the drunkest guy at Red Door.
No.
Like, I was like, if you're out there and your idea is that you're networking, you should have a drink or two, Now, if you want to go be the drunkest person at a bar, be it somewhere away from everyone that matters, or do it at your house, like whatever.
And those damn root beer float shots are dangerous.
They are
Dangerous.
deadly.
They're good, yeah. I remember, I'm like, Nick, it was like my birthday or something. I'm like, Nick, don't buy any more shots. And he's like, yes. I turn around, he's got 2 more root beer shots. Yeah.
That is the most Nick shit I've heard.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does be like that, but
It do be like that on the Red Door job.
yeah, every once in a while, yeah.
But also, just to maybe put a bookend on this roofie shit, it's like, but I don't want to let these fucking weirdos ruin my ability to have a good time. I'd like to be able to, if I'm playing a gig, take a shot from someone.
Mm-hmm.
It just sucks, man. I don't know what the solution is, but
And
I will say that sometimes someone has thrown like a fireball, like on the stadium tour, a thing when it's like sealed, and I'll just go, and I can feel it, and I just. Or one time someone threw it to Luke, and he opened it and put it in my mouth while I was playing. So it's like.
Did you do that at SoFi? I think you did. I was there.
Oh, cool.
I was behind. I was watching y'all backstage at SoFi. That was a killer show. By
I
the
think
way.
so. It was one of these shows.
I think it was at
year,
SoFi.
yeah.
That was a hell of a show, dude.
Thanks, man.
That was a hell of a show.
Which night did you go?
I was there. I think it was on Saturday night. It was like
Did you play the Whiskey Jam stage or?
no.
Okay.
Benji and Joel of Good Charlotte. That's my record label. They invited me out there.
Okay, and I know they're friends with Luke.
And we get there, and they're like, "All right, come on back." And then like it's 30 minutes later, it's showtime. That was a crazy ass experience. That was fun. And Luke makes the absolute fucking strongest Jack Jameson I've ever fucking had in my life. Seriously, that was crazy. I remember I said, "Caitlin, you want to try my drink?" She was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Is this just whiskey?"
Wait, Luke made you drink?
Yeah.
Like in the green room?
Yeah,
Backstage?
he was like, "Here, man, I made you a drink." Gives me this, red Solo cup, and I'm drinking it. And I've already drank a pretty good bit at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nothing's wrong with this. I hand it to Caitlin. She's like,
Well, Luke drinks Jack on stage, but we have Jameson in the bar cart. That was a Saturday night. So Luke has a green room. It's called the Still. It's like a moonshine still. That's what they call it. And there's a bar cart in there, and there's music, and it's just a hang. And the LA hang, that's where SoFi is, right? LA.
Mm-hmm.
That was a cool group of people. It was just like all these different actors, and like Jimmy Butler was there, and that was that night, right?
I did have an absolutely hilarious story from that. Christian McCaffrey walked in back there, and he's back there, and of course Caitlin's like just awing over his I guess now wife Olivia Goupil or whatever. She's like, "Oh my God, she's so pretty." And I go up to this dude, and I've had and Benji's to my right, and we're walking up, and I say, "Christian, what the fuck was that last year in fantasy, bro?" And he starts dying laughing. It was just that was. Benji's like, "So what did he do for you last year?" He said, "Not shit." Towards the end.
It's so funny. It's like, I feel like a lot of these football players, people just talk about fantasy before they talk about football.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's because like that's the thing that's affecting your own life. It's funny.
They were talking about this, and I think if I would have had this shit when I was in college, I probably would have been in trouble too. But they're coming out with some kind of Netflix documentary, I believe, on like, colleges and how much money like students are spending on fantasy football and fantasy sports in general.
Sports books.
Yeah, like
it's an
sports books.
epidemic, man.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know in Tennessee, like there's certain like I don't think you can bet on college sports in Tennessee, but you can bet on everything else. Everything else, I think.
I haven't spent $1. The only time I've ever bet on sports books is when we had a sports book sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's like they give you $50, and I just put it in and lost it, and I never spent $1 of my own money.
I think I'm probably putting in a total of $50 of my own money in sports books.
Same.
Mostly, I have like fantasy football. There's this like fantasy football website that like gives you like rankings and stuff and like helps you throughout the league. Mm-hmm. And if you signed up with a $50 deposit, it gave you like a year of it free.
Yeah.
No, it gave you like a year of
this,
like
the
website.
Okay.
Free that like helped you be better at fantasy football. I'll give you like rankings and shit, So I just signed up for that, I was like,
Gotcha.
for the year it's $100, or if I put $50 into this account, it gives me the $100 thing.
I have like a knack, like, me and my buddies all obviously, like my uncle made like a freaking belt that the winner gets at the end of the year, right?
Yeah.
But I always end up picking the team. It's like everybody gets hurt on it.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Don't pick
gets
any
hurt on it.
Dolphins players, please.
Oh,
No.
jeez.
Everybody
Yeah.
gets hurt.
Yeah, I've been playing it in a fantasy football league since I think it was 04 or 03. I had the first overall pick, and the first overall pick was Ricky Williams. So that tells you
Hell
how
yeah.
long ago it was.
Sends up. That's awesome. That was
think-
before the internet. You had to do it on the newspaper.
Yeah, basically. I think number 2 was LaDainian Tomlinson. So like that kind of gives you the
We are
the time.
way back.
Yeah.
Way
but
back.
I'm still in that league, and most of the owners are the same. You
Yeah,
know?
that's cool, man.
Yeah, it's nuts.
I love Luke has a league and like with his buddies from home, and the loser had to come out on stage and sing "Walking to Memphis," and that was fucking hilarious to hear these guys try to sing "Walking to Memphis." He bought him blue suede shoes and everything. And did you see? I saw Whiskey Jam post this thing about this cat. Like his punishment was to go to Jason Aldean's bar all day from like 10 a.m. to 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And every shot of Rumplemints took an hour off.
Yep.
I think he ended up being there 17 hours is what
Yep.
it ended up being.
So
Fucking funny, man.
He
That's
obviously didn't
hilarious.
take any shots of Rumpleman.
No, he did, but
Did he?
he's like, I'm done now. I'm just gonna keep going because this place is sick.
Yeah. Well, like they were all making like a big deal about it too, so it was like he was kind of like a celebrity for the day there, you know.
I think Aldean bought him a drink or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that. I've seen that same thing, but like I know Drew Parker in his league, it's a 24 hours at a Waffle House, and each waffle you eat is an hour off.
That's wild.
Brutal, dude. I'd much rather have a shot of Rumpleman's and sit and watch football all day than just be in a Waffle House
Yeah,
by
at least,
myself.
at
Exactly.
least that shot goes away after an hour. The waffle stays with you.
Because how many calories is a shot of Rumpleman's? 125 probably.
Yeah.
And then waffles probably 350.
I hate to
Without
say,
any
but that's
syrup?
my favorite, dude.
I know, but you don't want to eat. It's great.
Oh, Rumplemints?
I love Rumplemints.
Oh, it's
Man,
great.
They just taste like nostalgia to me because like I remember drinking them when I was younger. You know.
You don't want to throw up Rumplemints, though.
Nah,
I don't want to throw up anything, really.
No.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I
Unless it's like roof and all. Get that out of my system.
Get that
get
out.
that out of there.
You gotta get it out.
I remember like, you know, figuring out what alcohol you liked, and I tried to like rum, and then I destroyed Captain Morgan. I drank too much of it. You know what I mean? And
Tastes
then
great, man. With Coke, it's like
Yeah, it's
delicious.
pretty good.
You can't drink it anymore.
Can you mix Rumplemints with anything?
Yeah, I mean,
Bad
theoretically,
decisions.
yeah, those two are hand in hand.
Yeah.
No, what would you mix it with?
I bet like a
No.
chocolate liqueur.
That's
and
what I
make
was about to
some
say. Like
Yeah,
something
something like
with
that.
chocolate, in
chocolate
it.
martini or something. I don't know.
Yeah. The thing with Rumplemints is, I don't hate it.
Mhm.
The aftertaste is a little much, but that kind of like is the thing, you know. It's like I will do a shot of Rumplemints. I don't care. Like now Malort. Have you had Malort from Chicago?
Yes.
That's like the
can tell Ryan
Rumplemints
has.
dirty stepbrother. You know what I mean?
There was a place in North Carolina that we played at last year. I think we were playing with Chase Matthew last
Mm-hmm.
year in North Carolina. And they had a whole wall full of Polaroid pictures of people's faces after drinking Malort.
Oh my god.
Our faces on the wall, and I'm just like, you know, after it, I'm like, what even is
Why?
that? My buddy tried to describe the taste. He was like, it's like biting into a tree branch.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
It's very
yeah,
bitter.
It's
Yeah.
It's definitely like licoricey, but like in the worst way possible.
yeah.
The let me tell a story. It's pretty funny. So in 2022, I think was when Luke won his first Entertainer of the Year award, and we had a CMA Awards or ACMs, whatever it was, after party at a bar, and Luke's manager rented it out, and it was an open bar, and so we played. The band, Luke stayed, for the award ceremony. The band and the crew all had this bar reserved, and so we all went and had this open bar party, and like Flatland guys were there, and everyone from Make Wake, and it was awesome. It was so much fun. All these beautiful people, all my friends, were drinking, and Luke had won a bunch of awards. Well, then the last award is like the Entertainer of the Year. Luke wins it. The bar just goes fucking ape shit. All of us are screaming. We're so proud of him. He's great, best boss ever. And I remember our rigger, Dave Target, was like, it's open bar. Let's just get Pappy. And I was like, hell yeah. Well, not the best idea because it's open, but it's not that open. Well, long story short, we ended up drinking this Pappy. And then Luke's manager gets the bill, and it's like an extra $5,000 more. And he's like, what the hell happened? And then later on with the end of the tour party, we're doing the end of tour photo. Cappy walks out on stage and is like, who here drank Pappy at the after the ACMs or whatever? And, a bunch of us were like, and he's like, all right, well, you guys are going to drink Cappy Van Winkle now. And he pulls out a bottle of Malort and pours a big fat shot for all of us. He goes, cheers, motherfuckers, and just makes us all drink it.
Was this your first time or no?
No, I had a bunch of times.
Was it anybody's first time?
Oh, yeah, a couple people.
I bet they were like, no, never again.
Bad.
We always do like a pre-show shot, not like a full shot, like half shot probably. Mm-hmm. And we keep a bottle of Malorts in the bar cart just for shenanigans. And Tyler, our band leader, will sometimes he'll pour it's like the Russian roulette where one is Malort. So we're all go, all right, let's get the show started. And we rip the shot, and everyone looks around us, and then there's always one person goes.
Especially if you don't know it's coming. Like once you had Malort and you're like, you're going to do another Malort, you're like braced for how terrible it is.
Yeah, well, Wilbur's Tavern in East, I think it's called Wilbur's Tavern. You can get a beer and a shot of Malort for $7. Like, it's pretty cheap.
Do you like picklebacks? You ever had
Yes,
a pickleback?
absolutely I do.
Pickleback was good. I did have something. This was in Virginia. I had a pickleback for the first time. I thought it was really good. But then they gave me this beer.
Pickle beer?
No, it was like V8 juice. It was like tomato beer.
Really?
And I was like,
Clamato or something?
yeah, I was like, what is this shit? Like, I could not drink it. Could not.
I like that PBR had a coffee beer. I drank it at the Dusty Armadillo, dude.
Yeah, those were good.
Yeah.
They
Coffee
tasted
beer?
like Yoo-hoo almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds
It was
really
like,
good.
honestly, it was like a coffee energy drink vibe, and it honestly tasted like Yoo-hoo. They were pretty delicious.
That sounds delicious. I need to try
Midwest
that.
as fuck, dude.
Yeah. Put all the sweetness in there and deliciousness.
Yeah.
I think my favorite is like my go-to, like especially when I'm trying to, I guess if I'm trying to get shitty, is I love Jaeger.
Yeah.
Really?
I have a problem with Jaeger. I love Jaeger.
And
Everybody around me is like, no.
I had not
What
drank
is it,
Jaeger.
2005?
I had not drank Jaeger for years, but so we go to Tailgate and Tall Boys and we're like helping MC with that and stuff. Mm-hmm. And DJ Cliffy D is a Jaeger bomb guy.
Jaeger bomb.
So I'm like, bro, if you want me to do a Jaeger bomb with you, I will do a Jaeger bomb with you. And honestly, the Jaeger bomb, not bad.
Not bad.
Good.
Yeah. Like there's something about the Red Bull mixed with the Jaeger that makes both of those things less crappy for me. Like I don't love Red Bull and I don't love Jaeger, but if you put them together, I'm like, all right, not bad. Yeah. Plus that feels like nostalgia.
That's like drinking in college.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah. Well, me too, because probably like 2004-ish was when that was like starting to pop.
And that was like when that Jaeger bomb video was like super viral or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So you're still rocking the Jaeger.
Yes. I'm a big whiskey guy too. I'm not, Caitlin is she's all tequila 100%. And I'm whiskey. Like I like even collecting whiskey, like
bourbons and.
Yeah. I think my favorite, I had Weller.
Yeah.
Okay, I had a Weller Antique 110 the other day, and I was like, damn, I don't know, liquor could taste this good.
It's so smooth, dude.
Oh, it's delicious.
If you get the chance, try the Weller's CYPB.
Yeah, it's the
so
choose your own barrel or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
they have a bunch of Weller at Smokers Abbey.
Really?
If you ever want to go have a cigar.
I feel like it's so hard to find like full bottles of that stuff around here.
It is.
You can just drink a little bit at a time at the bar.
Yeah.
One of my worst memories, I was out in Los Angeles last year, and I went into this liquor store, and of course they had bottles of Weller on the top shelf. And I walk in, and I was like, "Hey man, can I see that bottle up there? I want to see if it's the one that, because it was way up on the top shelf. I want to see if it's the right one." And he's like, "You can't afford that." That's what he says. He doesn't even like go to get it down. I'm like, get the fucking bottle down now, because now I'm gonna fucking buy it. I don't care if it's $3,000. Like I'm not going the hole for this shit. I'm gonna get it now. And he gets it down, and he's like, "So do you want it?" I said, "Nope."
How much was it?
I think it was like $1,200.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I was at I have a similar story like that where it's like when someone tells you I can't do something, you just want to do it more. I was at what's that spicy chicken place next? Bolton's.
Bolton's.
And I said, can I get a medium pulled pork? And it's like an older cat like rings me up. He goes, okay, cool, I pay. And he's like, order fire, like 1 mild pulled pork. And I said, excuse me, sir, I ordered medium. And he said, yeah, but you don't want medium, you want mild. I'm like, no, I do want medium. Like, I'm not like the best. I can handle my spice. And he was like, okay. And so he gives me the sandwich, and I sat down with my tray, and the cash register was there, so he could see me, and I sat facing the cash register, not on purpose, just the way it happened. And I took one bite of the sandwich, and it was so fucking hot. It ruined me. But that guy was there, so I just swallowed it, and I ate the whole sandwich like a duck, and I didn't chew any of it. I just took a bite,
Died afterwards.
Oh, I've never had a ring of fire in my entire life, and I haven't had since. But that one time, I had a rehearsal, I had to cancel it. I'm like, y'all, sorry. They're like, what? I'm like, I went to Bolton's, and they're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I felt the same way when I tried Prince's here in Nashville for the first time.
It's old school, dude.
Because Caitlin can do any spice. She's like, let's try the double X hot. And I'm like,
get out of here.
I'm like, the next one is triple X hot. That's the hottest you can go. And we get it, and we're thinking that it's like it's X hot, double X hot, and triple X hot, and that's like we didn't know that there was mild, hot, and then X hot, double X. There's like 5 different phases.
Oh boy.
So we get it, and it's like it's not. You ever got wings and like there's wet rub and then there's dry rub. Like the chicken finger looks black. Like I get it, and I'm like, is it burnt? What's going on here? And then she goes, no, it's just dry rub. I'm like, okay. I dip it in some ranch. I put it in my mouth. Eyes watering immediately. Like immediately. It was so hot, dude. And this is gonna sound disgusting, but this is what I did.
I mean, this podcast is already there, so
it's so hot that I go into the kitchen and I put it under the faucet and I start like scraping the side of the chicken finger off so I could eat it.
Under running water.
Under running water.
I mean, you're not gonna waste the chicken, right?
No, I wasn't. I got all of the breading off, and it was still hot as hell. But I got through it at least.
That's wild.
Don't touch your eyes.
No. And I was like, I will get the absolute wimpiest one here next time. And even the wimpiest one there is pretty hot.
Yeah,
I always get medium at Hattie B's, and it never did me wrong. But it's like, what? How do these restaurants like? Is there some scientific method to how they? Sometimes I'll get pad thai or some soup or something, and it's like they ask you out of 5, I say 3, and then every time I get 3 every time, and it's never the same. Like we need to get like some sort of regulatory system around here.
Units.
Yeah,
that's what it's called.
And you think you're like a badass. I don't know if you've probably tried it before, the Hot Ones Challenge, where you do the 10.
No.
Well, it's not bad. It's really not as bad as the celebrities make it seem.
Do they sell like a packet of so you could do it at home kind of thing, or? I
know that they sell some of them individually, like the bomb is at like Publix. You can go and get it, and it's like supposed to be one of the worst ones. It's really not that bad. It just has no taste. So it's just kind of blank taste.
Blank hot.
Yeah, blank hot. But
just burn.
But shit, Prince's. Shout out to y'all. Y'all got some hot ass chicken.
Well, if you go to Prince's and you get the double X, just make sure you get a bottle of Rumpleman's to wash it down.
Yes. Maybe pour it on beforehand.
And no rupees.
Yes, true.
No.
Well, man, thanks for hopping on the pod with us, brother.
Hey, thanks for having me.
It's been a blessing.
We've been through some crazy shit in the past 30 minutes, haven't we?
Yeah, chaos, but
complete chaos.
Some of the best podcasts are like that, though, in my opinion.
Exactly. I find if you go in and you've got this, it never quite goes the way you want it to go. It always goes off somewhere. But I like it like that. Like I was in one with a guy named Sam Mackey yesterday on, I think it's the Bear, Jay Cutler's podcast.
Yeah.
He was like, let's talk about hunting. I was like, fuck it, I'm in. Because he's this big burly dude. He's talking about hunting, and I'm like, I've got plenty of fucking stories on hunting. Let's go. Got plenty of fucked up stories. We can all tell each other. We can sit here
Nick
all day.
I know more about getting fucked up than hunting. So.
Yes.
But thank you guys for having me. It's been,
a blast, man.
As
congrats
always.
on the record.
Yeah, I'm so excited
Thank you.
for it to be out in the world, man.
Yeah, I got asked the other day. They're like, are you excited about your record coming out next week? I was like, fuck, it's next week. It's next Friday. It's crazy.
What's the date?
January the 17th.
All right, so it'll
Drops
probably be out when
January
this comes out, maybe.
Yep.
Or
Yep,
okay.
yep.
Well, congrats on the album release.
Thank you, man.
Dude, so happy for you. It's been great getting to know you. And honestly, that's why this conversation is a little bit of chaos, because like once you know someone,
You can talk about anything and everything
yeah,
then.
it
It's like,
comes easier.
the first time I did it with Matt, we were like, it was like we went through a list of questions. And once you get to know somebody, it's way more easier, and it's a little bit more laid back and chillax,
Yeah.
And I'd much rather do a podcast like that than a series of 45 questions about
Yeah.
why did you write this part of the song?
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
You're like, that was a year and a half ago. I don't remember.
Exactly.
We'll have you sign the Stick of Destiny.
Yeah.
But we won't do anything weird with it afterwards.
Oh, man. What a mess. I love it. Well, brother, thank you so much, like I said, for being on. Super excited for the world to hear more of the Ryan Waters music. And,
Ryan Water Band.
Ryan Water Band. Ryan Water. Yeah.
Ron Wilpert.
We got to get you your own brand of water. And then
I got
then
told
we'll
a
just
long
keep it on
time ago,
file.
they were like, that's a pretty cool celebrity name, Ryan Waters.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? And then I saw something on Instagram the other day where they were like, you know what a cool fucking last name would be? Waters. And I'm like, why? Why?
I love the wow.
Like good Alabama wine.
Yeah.
You talking about that guy that like the preacher? Why? Why? Why?
Yeah.
My dad's obsessed with that shit. And then the guy that's like, would you look at that? Just look at it.
Would you just look at it? Yeah.
Obsessed with it, dude. He's always sending me that fucking meme.
That's so great.
All right. All right.
But
Let's
great.
get the fuck out of here.
Let's get it.
All right.
We appreciate
Later,
you,
Ryan.
brother. I'm
Love
gonna
you,
Later.
dog. Bye,
Love you,
Nick.
dog.
see ya. Happy New Year. God bless America.